everybody, it's Marty Millner with Coldwell Banker Hearthside Realtors in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Today I want to welcome you to my next edition of my video blog, and we're going to talk today about the six biggest mistakes that I see sellers making in today's market. The first mistake would be overpricing. The market has been very strong for sellers actually for the past year, but it is still possible to overprice a house, and actually that's probably the worst strategy you can have in terms of trying to effectuate a sale as quickly as possible. The most motivated buyers come through in the early stages of the listing, and it's really critically important that you have the house price right from the outset. I'm going to help you with that process. We'll look at all the houses that you're competing with, see what's sold recently. We'll make sure that your house is priced appropriately given current market conditions. Second mistake I see is challenges with showing. When I represent a buyer making appointments, there's nothing more frustrating than not being able to get into the house with buyers when you want to, or even the situation where an agent has to meet you at the house. Oftentimes you can't coordinate the appointment properly because it doesn't work with the agent's schedule. You want buyers to be able to go through the house with their agent and discuss the house, pros and cons, comfortably and freely without any interference with either the seller or even the seller's agent. So the third biggest mistake that I see sellers in Bucks County and Yardley, Newtown making is unwillingness to depersonalize the house. Even in my own house, I love looking at pictures of my kids and family, whatever, but you really want buyers to be able to envision their own things and their own experiences in the house, and I've seen so many cases where buyers, they go through a house and they get so distracted looking at the seller's things that they can't really look at the house. They almost forget what they're looking at. So it's very important to make the house neutral, depersonalize it to the best extent you can. Fourth, pet odors. I love dogs. I've owned dogs my whole life, so I totally get that. But again, it's a really unpleasant experience when a buyer walks into an otherwise beautiful house in many cases, but can't get beyond the pet odor. So if you're dealing with pets, have the house cleaned, do whatever you have to do to make sure that the smells of your pet are not evident when buyers come through the house. The fifth mistake I see sellers making, unwillingness to negotiate. Oftentimes sellers get offers. If the offer isn't exactly the asking price, there seems to be sort of an emotional challenge in trying to convince sellers in many cases to be realistic and to negotiate and be responsive. Oftentimes, if a house is on the market for an extensive period of time, you do need to react proactively to market conditions. So you really need to be ready and willing to negotiate. And sixth, the final mistake I see sellers making, failure to deal with and recognize repair issues. So there are many cases, and again, I try and make sure that sellers have a realistic frame of reference as far as repair issues once you get a contract. Oftentimes the biggest issue is that if you decide as a seller not to fix something, you have a disclosure issues because you would have to disclose any material defect to a future buyer, so you might as well just fix it. So those are the six biggest mistakes I see sellers making in the market right now in Yardley, Newtown, all over Bucks County. I help people navigate all of these issues as painlessly and proactively, successfully as possible. So if you're thinking of selling, if you know anybody looking to sell, feel free to call me, 215-519-1399. It's Marty Millner in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching and have a great day.